Live. Okay, need a sound check, folks, please.
Okay, two, one, two. Yep. One, two, one, two.
No, not you. The other online.
Oh.
Quiet. All right. Should be live shortly. Okay, there we are. Hi, everybody. This is Steve at Little Treasury Jewelers. This is our second live stream of the year. Getting back into the routine after a bit of a layoff for a while. And welcome, everyone. And everybody feel free to post and identify yourself. We've invited a number of people beyond the normal folks who follow the channel, some Oris folks, and hopefully they'll identify themselves. I see Stig is here from Denmark, from the old world, as he says, and where it's past midnight. Oh, sorry. And Kyle Jett's aboard as well. Okay, so we're got a few folks here. I see there's 8 people on right now, and probably get a few more going shortly. So the topic of tonight is to introduce a new watch from Oris, our one of our favorite independent watch brands. Been around since 1904. Started in Holstein, Switzerland. And they've released an interesting new watch that we're going to talk about tonight. And it commemorates and honors an American hero that we're going to be talking about as well, Mr. Carl Brashear, who is the first black master diver in the U.S. Navy and has a very storied career. And with us tonight is his son, Philip Brashear, who is a very interesting and accomplished fellow with a military career as well. So I'm going to bring them aboard, and bear with me while I do that. And let me switch over to them. And here we go. Okay, hi, gents.
And hello, how are you?
Just great. And so on the left, we have Philip, who is there with a lot of memorabilia, it looks like, behind him. We could talk about it. And to the right is VJ Geronimo, who is the CEO of Oris USA. I hope I've gotten all of your credentials correct, gentlemen. So, welcome. So, I'm going to start off asking VJ to say a little bit about this project we're going to discuss tonight, and then we'll switch over to the background story with Philip and the story of Carl Brashear.
Sure, sure. So, thank you for having me, Steve, and nice to see you all again. Nice to see Philip as well. So, what we're talking about tonight is our third installment of a Carl Brashear limited edition. Um, for those of you who follow our brand or know of some of the pieces that we've done 2 other Carl Brashear limited editions. One was the basic 3-hand back in 2015, and then we did another one, a chrono, a couple years back. Again, the unique signifying piece about this is the pieces are done in bronze, so they really have a unique look to them. And this one in particular, I believe, is my favorite of all of them in terms of the way it looks, and also it especially houses our new Calibre 401 movement, our own in-house movement, with a 5-day power reserve, 10-year warranty, 10-year service interval. So we're really excited about it. But as you can see the watch there, with the small second complication as well. So the pieces that we've done, they have this unique look to them. bronze being significant of the diving helmet that Carl Brashear wore, the blue of the ocean for the dial as it is, and then the first one had that leather strap, which was significant of the belt that he wore in his diving suit. But I think talking about the watch is one thing, but really putting the watch aside and talking about Carl Brashear, I mean, I think that's the real kind of story of this, and the message of kind of what it is. I mean, we've been fortunate enough to partner with Philip and the Carl Brashear Foundation on this project and the projects we've done in the past. And it's really something that, much in an Oris fashion, we want to tell stories that need to be told. We want to signify and recognize people that need to be recognized for their accomplishments and what they did, and really just the things that Carl Brashear went through to accomplish what he did. And Philip will talk certainly much more about that. But I think we're so proud of this project. We're proud to be associated with the Brashear Foundation and with Philip, and being able to kind of bring this out. And again, all those things, with not even talking about the watch, but really just about the project itself. And so it's been an honor to do it. And yeah, we're really excited about this one in particular.
Great. So also, you might want to say something about the 401 Calibre and its major impact on the Oris brand.
It is, and we recently launched back in October of last year, 2020. You know that we launched all of the product that we had, even in a year of COVID. It's been a very different year for everybody, and we've been fortunate enough to be able to do that. But the Calibre 400 was a very unique project for us. It was a 5-year project in the making, and we decided to make, it wasn't just about making our own movement. To say that you have your own in-house movement, we've been making movements a long time. Before the quartz crisis of the early 80s, Oris, we were one of the 10 largest manufacturers in Switzerland. We made 279 of our own calibers from 1904 to 1982. So we were no strangers to making our own movements. But this project, these movements, the 400, was our first automatic in-house movement in many years. And we try to do it very much an Oris way, where we wanted to offer significant value to consumers, and that being all the things that make it what it is. So the watch itself is very highly anti-magnetic. With today's world and being subjected to many of the things like your phone, your computer, all the magnetic fields we're subjected to, we wanted to make a movement that was very much anti-magnetic. Also, as a watch enthusiast, many people own more than one watch, so having a power reserve of 5 days was something we saw as being significant and being very useful to the community of people that wear our watches. And then finally, the 10-year service interval and the 10-year warranty that accompany the watch, based on the way that the movement was designed from start to finish, the components that were used in it, the torque, the reduced torque in the movement, things like that really make it what it is. We didn't just raise the warranty and say, okay, let's raise the warranty. It was more about how the watch was designed and what it did. And then that came out in October, and now this in January, Calibre 401, which adds a small second to the watch, and it's really all the same features of the 400, but with a small second. And on this piece, it really is just beautiful.
Absolutely is, and outstanding specs. So it looks like at least half of the current people watching right now sort of jumped in after the introduction. So I'm going to just go back a little bit and introduce these two fellows. So on the right we have VJ Geronimo. He's the CEO of Oris USA. Oris is one of the independent brands that we love and carry at Little Treasury. And to the left is Philip Brashear, who is the son of Carl Brashear, who is celebrated in the watch we're discussing tonight. And he'll explain a little bit later about the background and the story of his father and maybe a little bit of the story of himself. He's a fascinating guy in and of himself. So that's the reintroduction of our two guests. So with that, Philip, maybe you can tell us a little bit first about yourself. You've had a long military career. You've been a helicopter pilot. You've been in combat. You've been awarded some meritorious medals for your performance. You have a very high position right now in a training in the U.S. Army Reserve. You're a command chief warrant officer with the 80th Training Command. I guess, where is that? Norfolk? Richmond, sorry. Okay, well, close. So give us a little brief on yourself, and then let's get into the story of your dad.
Okay. Well, I started off in the Navy Reserve back in 1981. I didn't have a degree, but I was so interested in helicopters because I was riding on Navy helicopters. A few years went by, and I decided in 1989, since I didn't have a degree, I wanted to try to be a pilot. And the Army had a warrant officer program, so I switched over to the Army, went to flight school, graduated in 1990, and been flying ever since. Up until about 3 years ago, I was flying helicopters out of Fort Eustis. I'm qualified in the Huey, the Black Hawk, and the Chinook. Well, about 3 years ago, I got promoted and got sent to a desk job here with the Reserve Center in Richmond. Got promoted to the highest rank of warrant officers, but of course that meant giving up the cockpit. But I am still a qualified pilot. I met all my gates. And if something were to go off right now, I would be out there in the military right now flying helicopters. I've been in for 39 years. I'm 58 years old. I'm going to stay in until I retire in July of 22 when I turn 60. And that'll be a nice long 41-year military career.
Yeah, well, we thank you for your service. Outstanding. Okay, so tell us about your dad a little bit from your perspective.
All right. Well, my father, for those of you that saw the movie Men of Honor, he joined the military with 3 strikes against him back in 1948, back when this country had a little bit different view about black people joining the military. He grew up on a poor sharecropper farm in Kentucky, and at age 17, when he finally decided to leave the family farm and join the Navy, he only had an 8th grade education. So the 3 things that were already against him before he joined the military was race, poverty, and illiteracy. But he joined the military anyway, and his dream was to become a diver. 6 years after joining the Navy, and after countless enumerations of putting in his slip to try to go to Navy dive school, he finally made it. 1954, he graduated as a diver, doing great, still dealing with racism and everything, but got his GED and kept on progressing as a diver. Later on in 1966, 2 Air Force planes collided off the coast of Spain. One of those planes had nuclear bombs on board, and one of those nuclear bombs, when those 2 planes collided, dropped into the ocean off the coast of Spain. Being an accomplished diver, my dad's dive team was sent over there to retrieve that bomb, to find it somewhere off in the Atlantic Ocean and get it off the ocean floor and get it back in U.S. custody. During that operation in 1966, he suffered a massive leg injury and eventually had to have his leg amputated once they got him back here in the States. At that time, the Navy said, no, we don't need any handicapped people. We're going to go ahead and retire you and let you go on about your way. Well, my father had other opinions about that. He decided to fight against the Navy, take his prosthetic that he had after he had his amputation, work that, get his body back in shape to endure wearing that 300-pound diving suit, and won his right back to the Navy status of Navy diver, which was an accomplishment in itself. You know, despite everything my father went through, that was a tremendous accomplishment, and he became world famous for it. Before my father retired in 1979, he actually had the courage to submit himself to the Navy alcohol abuse course because he was a functional alcoholic and he had an alcohol addiction. So the things that I say my father overcame to be the man, the worldwide figure that he is, was racism, poverty, illiteracy, physical disability, and alcoholism. In today's society, alcoholism and drug abuse are kind of put on the same item. But you think about the 5 things that he overcame are 5 things that still affect every country in the world today. And I was there July 25th when he passed away with a smile on his face, knowing that he accomplished something and he he didn't have any grudges against anybody. But still, what my father did by doing those things, he took our ability to complain away. Because if he could survive those 5 things, we have nothing to complain about in this life.
Absolutely. Great story. And then he was also honored in the movie, or his story is told in the movie Men of Honor. And I guess Cuba Gooding was the actor that played him. What was that, back in 1990, what, 2, something like that?
Actually, the movie came out November of 2000.
Okay.
If you remember the presidential election, that was the month of the hanging Chad incident with the vote in Florida. So
Okay.
that's how I remember November 2000, because
Right.
of all the things that were going on with the presidential election.
Okay.
Kind of goes back to, well, I'll leave that alone.
Great story. Okay, so just sort of back to our chat a little bit. I see that our friend Carlos is visiting. He's in Louisiana now, visiting from Panama. And a few other folks are here. Eduardo, how are you doing? And feel free to ask some questions, folks. So moving on a little bit, you have a foundation now that you head up, I understand. Can you tell us something about that and how that ties into the watch we've been looking at today?
Sure. When my father passed away in 2000, people were giving me money. I didn't know what to do with that money. My cousin said, Philip, start a foundation and get that money away in your dad's name. So I got to the IRS and filled out all the proper paperwork, got established. I was like, wow, I got established. I'm a 501c3 nonprofit. And with the money that gets donated in, and we have a coin drive also, so as people send in money, I send coins away as gifts. But as the money comes in, I take that money in $1,000 increments and I donate to VA hospitals here in the United States. My dad was a VA hospital patient for all his years after the accident, and I just feel that's a way to give back. Plus, the website gives a chance for people to see and learn about Carl Brashear. Well, guess what? One of those people that learned about Carl Brashear was a Mr. Geis who worked for Oris. And Oris has a diving line of watches. So when he saw my dad and he took his current job and said, oh, we can tie these together, came up with the first Carl Brashear watch back in 2015. And the watch came out in 2016. And it's been a great relationship ever since.
Right. And I have to say that extremely popular watch. We became dealers after the first piece came out, but participated when the chronograph was issued, and it sure sold out very promptly. And certainly we've seen a lot of interest in our customer base about this new piece. And in fact, we had to have the one we're showing tonight FedEx overnighted because our first order got sold out just as it hit the ground. So I think this is going to be a very exciting thing all around. So, okay, so
Steve, may I?
Go ahead.
May I?
Yes.
You talked about your first order. Well, this past weekend, I met the gentleman who bought that first watch, Mr. Michael Lewis. So I know exactly who bought that first watch from your store. He's a great guy.
Oh, you met him in person or on the phone?
I met him in person up in Maryland.
Oh, really?
We met.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we did.
So here's another story, pretty interesting. Philip was in our store and visited in 2018 when we had the chronograph out. And I had a customer with the same last name. And I invited him to the event. Turns out, what's the relationship, Philip?
David Brashear is my cousin.
Yeah, and you never knew that he existed, right?
Yeah, my father's family is huge. There's all kinds of nephews, nieces, and cousins all over the place. And it's amazing. I'm meeting a relative who lives right there in Maryland at your store. It was great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really very touching. So very cool. We sometimes facilitate beyond just pushing watches out the door. So, okay, I have a question here from Derek. He asked, Phil, what year did your dad pass? And he wondered if he participated in designing the watch. No, or maybe they're asking if you did. So when did your father pass?
My dad
Okay. And then, were you involved in designing the watches at all, or not?
No, not at all. Mr. Ralph Studer, the CEO over in Europe, told me about the design, and I tell you, there was a little short lady who works in that Holstein office who came up with design, and I fell in love with her idea when it came to the bronze and the leather on
Mm-hmm.
the first watch. And I tell you what, there's no way I could be wrapped up in the design. They've got the smart people to do it, and I just sit back and
You let
watch the
them do it.
excellence.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Jessica is her name. So Jessica.
So, okay, let's turn back to this watch a little bit. There's a couple things that I want to show, and I hope I can do that well with my little camera. I'm switch over to me again, if I can find me in my complicated setup. So, there we go. Here's the piece, and hopefully sort of in focus. This has a really interesting strap, and tell us about this, will you, VJ?
That's an Erica's original strap. So it's a I'll call it a little stretchable strap, and the clasp on it is in bronze, and it has a unique. I don't know if you can see it in front of me here as well.
Yeah, well, wait a minute, let me get back to you.
The way that it clasps, um, it has a. You can see it like this, and then it clasps on to the end. So it's a NATO. It's a stretchable NATO strap, but it's really really comfortable when put on. And a lot of people in the watch community love Erica's original straps. So um, we had kind of met her in New York a couple of years back, and we kind of struck up a partnership
Hmm.
with this particular piece. So it's she's a favorite among collectors and people watch enthusiasts. So
Yeah,
really
and
stoked.
with the clasp, it's really unique, and indeed, it looks. I haven't put it on, but it looks extremely comfortable and practical. So, congratulations on that. Sometimes these little elements really make a watch. So we have a question from Terry N, and he's asking, does the new Oris dive watch have the in-house movement?
It does. So this new Carl Brashear carries the Oris Calibre 401. So very similar to the Calibre 400. This adds a small second complication to it. 5-day power reserve, 10-year service interval and warranty, and highly anti-magnetic. So yes.
So, sort of going past this a little bit, are we to anticipate additional pieces this year incorporating the new Caliber 400 or 401?
That's a pretty good question.
The one you probably don't want to answer, but now that I have you here.
I would say that crazier things have happened in the world. So
Okay, there you are. Excellent. And any other complications envisioned this year to be
I
included?
mean, I think you'll see some nice stuff from us this year. And much like when we launched the Caliber 400, our plan is not to kind of step away from the base or the original price point. It's more to complement the line and continue to evolve the line over time. So, there'll still be introductions that don't have Caliber 400 in them. So it'll be a nice mix of things that I think you'll
Right.
see coming. So
Okay.
it should be a
Well,
nice year. It'll be a good cadence of releases, and things will be new. There'll be always something new to talk about, I think. So,
and we certainly hope Little Treasury will be the first to know.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hold you to it, my man.
Okay.
All right.
One of the first. Oh, how about that?
Yeah. One of the first. Okay. That's fair enough. So, okay. So, Philip, have you gotten your hands on one of these pieces yet?
Well, like I said, I saw one this weekend when I met Michael Lewis. I haven't got mine yet, but I'm sure VJ told me they're on the way. Yeah,
Okay.
they're on the way. We
I
just got
hope.
them ourselves too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I wish you had it right now. So we have a question from Larry Kippings. Is the watch a limited run? And what is the price?
The watch lots is limited to 2,000 pieces, and the price is 4,200 US. So.
Okay, that's a very good price for all the features of this watch. Um, so the case is bronze. The case back is stainless steel.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So shouldn't affect you with any problems with the metal. And
the way that the NATO sits, it doesn't rest on your skin. The
right.
bronze does not rest on your skin.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful piece. Like it very much. So okay. Anything else that you folks want to add?
I mean, I will with the watches. I will say, if you're interested in one, I would let Steve know sooner rather than later, because just from a supply perspective, they're coming in and going out, and yeah, they're not. If judging from the last two, it will not be a long time.
Right. And then Philip, if people want to support your foundation, how would they do that? What's the best way? I know one way is to purchase one of these beautiful timepieces, but are there other ways that people can help out?
Sure. The website is www.carlbrashear, all one word, www.carlbrashear.org. On the website, I keep all kinds of information on my father. And just as a side note, there was a Jefferson Davis statue taken down in the State Rotunda building in Kentucky. Well, one of the Republican senators put in a bill that they've already voted on in the State House in Kentucky, and they're going to replace that statue with a statue of Carl Brashear.
Oh.
Not only that, the U.S. Post Office is considering next year or maybe the year after a U.S. postage stamp in honor of my father. So with my father, there's so many things going on all the time. And these stories are key stories that I keep on the website so everybody can see. The
Okay.
ship, the watches, the upcoming statue, the Veterans Center in Kentucky, everything is on that website. So www.carlbrashear.org.
Fabulous story, and the man is definitely not forgotten. It seems like his reputation is growing, if anything. So I think that's wonderful. So someone thinks we missed showing the watch, Kyle Jett. So did we see it already? Well, let's put it back on. Let me put it back in this little holder and show you a nice shot of it. We did hold it up a couple of times, and VJ, you have one there, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, would you hold it up, and then I can. Okay, that's an okay shot, and so 40 millimeters. It's got a nice, beautiful crystal, sort of a box crystal, very vintage look. And we discussed the movement a bit. It's the new Calibre 401 from Oris, the new in-house Calibre with a astounding 10-year warranty and exceeds cost standards, 5-day power reserve at a amazing price for an in-house movement. And I have a close-up I will cut to, and you can see it in a little better detail. And okay, Derek asks if Phil is the only child. Does he look like an only child? I don't know. I don't think so. But go ahead.
I'm so big, I ate everything. No, that's not true. I had an older brother that passed away in 1996. I have another older brother that lives in New Jersey. He's a male model, does commercials, print work, artwork. He got all the looks in the family. And I got a little brother that lives in Norfolk. He's 2 years under me.
Okay.
We had pleasure of meeting Dwayne, Phil's brother, a few years ago. We did an event in New York, and Phil was up for it. Philip was up for it, and Dwayne happened to come, so we had a nice time with the both of them. It was really nice to see.
Yeah.
So.
And VJ can relate and verify my story. He is extremely handsome. Not everybody can be handsome like him.
Runs in the family, actually. So, okay. So Carlos down in Louisiana says the watch would match with the place where I'm sleeping today, the Golden Nugget Casino. Well, I think it would match very well. We probably could overnight you one if you want to give me a call after the show, Carlos. And you're in the States, so we don't have to worry about shipping to Panama again, which we have done. Okay.
He's in Lake Charles.
Yeah. So,
Steve,
yes. So, one thing I really enjoy about Oris is um, very approachable folks. And I think we have a sense of that here with our discussion with Philip and VJ. Many of the Swiss watch brands are, let's say, aloof and unapproachable. This is an approachable company that makes both retailers like me and final customers very comfortable. I have to commend you that you do a great job with that and supporting a lot of the watch groups around the country and just really getting involved in a very appropriate, nice way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for the support as well.
Yeah.
Steve,
Yeah.
I've got to thank you also. When I came to your store, you put a beautiful dark blue leather band on Carl Brashear 1. And today everybody still compliments me because that dark blue band that you put on that first watch mixes in with the blue dial. And everybody raves about it. You guys do great work.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We appreciate that. We try to. Okay, so just a general chat going on here. Triforce Rich is aboard. Hey, how are you doing? And we're probably getting to the point of starting to wrap this up. I really appreciate Philip and VJ putting up with all of our gyrations to get this together and our Skyping in and worked out some sound problems last night and appreciate giving the time and appreciate everybody jumping in and saying hi, and we'll be doing something again soon, and I will be adding some of the links to what we talked about at the bottom of our live stream, and including a link to Philip's foundation, and you can see more about his dad, Carl Brashear, and Tom Roman, one of our very good friends, local to here, makes a comment. He says, VJ, my dad is from Puerto Rico. I was lucky to get a Roberto Clemente pointer date from Little Treasury. Very nice piece. So another commemorative piece that we were very pleased to have.
Thank you. Glad. Thank you for the support
Yeah.
and the purchase. The beautiful piece as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So Carlos, thank you. Steve, Philip, and VJ, and Kyle Jett, great call. Thanks. So these are all our regulars, guys, and appreciate everybody's participation. So with that, I am going to end the live stream and wish everybody a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, take care.